Today is May 13th, and I have 3 weeks to find a new apartment in downtown Washington, D.C. Now, here's the problem. I absolutely hate spending my money, but Washington, D.C. is super, super expensive. So, right now, where I live, I have an absolute bargain on my rent. I'm only paying $750 a month. But when I was searching for apartments in D.C., the very first place I saw was this 500 square foot studio apartment for $2250 a month. That is literally 3 times as much money as I'm paying right now. So my goal is to find an apartment for at least less than $1,500 because I don't want my rent to more than double. So this video will document that entire process wherever it goes. But if DC is so super duper expensive, then why am I moving there at all? Well, last January, I was laid off from Amazon Web Services. That meant I had to find a new job, and I actually did. Within 1 month, I found a job at Capital One. I didn't have to move. All seemed fine and dandy. But then Capital One told me I had to stop making these YouTube videos, so I started searching again. And after that, again, after about 4 or 5 weeks, I landed a job at Google. I am working in the downtown Washington, D.C. office, and I can technically get there from where I am right now. It just means that I have about a 90-minute commute. That's why I'm trying to move in to downtown Washington, D.C., get my commute at least under 30 minutes. So it is going to be way more expensive, but fortunately, the Google offer does make it worth it, and it's the reason I gotta make these videos again for you. And by the way, if you're wondering how I got jobs at Amazon Web Services and Capital One and Google all in the last year, then you should really check out my LinkedIn. I've gotten so many questions that I am posting way more content about this there. But anyway, let me tell you how I'm trying to find my next super frugal apartment that meets all of my criteria. So the way I do my apartment search is I always start with the most restrictive criteria first. So for me, that means starting with a kickboxing gym. I'm an active amateur kickboxer. I would like to be able to keep doing this. Not sure how much longer, but I'd like to have the option. So that means I really need to find a place that is close to a kickboxing gym. There are not a whole lot of these, so this is the hardest requirement to meet. My other criteria is that I also need to be by a grocery store because I have to go there usually at least once a week. I also have to be able to get to my office. Now, my office would be the most restrictive thing because I only have one office, but everywhere I've worked is usually pretty close to public transit. So I don't have to live right next to my office. I just need to live close to a place where I can get to my office easily. So that's actually usually one of the easiest criteria to meet. So I start with kickboxing and then look for nearby grocery stores, then figure out how I'm going to get to my office. So what I would do is I would find the neighborhoods that I would want off of Google Maps, and then I would figure out that zip code and really narrow in, put like a 1 mile radius and just see what's on there in Craigslist. But last time I used Craigslist to search around, I also started running into more scams. They're not super hard to spot. They just usually are asking you to do a paid credit check before you can even see the place, but they're still annoying and they waste time. And the other annoying thing about Craigslist is that the location is always sort of like a general range. And since I'm so picky about exactly precisely where I live so that I can walk or bike to all the places I want to go, it's really helpful to just sort of have the address up front. So what I'm doing this time is I'm using Facebook Marketplace a little more. What's convenient about this is they do have the actual address usually. So it's usually easier for me to filter out what might work and what might not work, and I don't have to waste time and do more back and forth. But the other thing that's already seeming sort of surprisingly effective is also Facebook groups, which are dedicated to either finding roommates or finding housing in this general area. This probably doesn't work as well outside of really big cities, but in Washington, D.C., this seems like it's pretty effective. So far, I've made a post in a couple of groups. Nobody's responded yet, so that kind of sucks. But I was scrolling around in one of the groups and I found this place here. I'd be roommates with the guy who made this post. It's $1,400 for the other half of a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. So I'll be getting a virtual tour of this place on Friday in a couple of days from now. My original plan was to get real tours of all these places when I was going in for work, but I probably won't be into the office for about another week. And since I'm already having people reaching out and already finding places I'm kind of interested in, I'd rather just take care of it now. So I don't mind doing a virtual tour. That's happening Friday. I also reached out to another place. This one also looks really interesting. Similar, very good location, but this place is even cheaper at $995 a month. The reason for that is that it's a shared bathroom, but so is the place that I'm in now. I don't really mind that. And generally, if somebody asks me, would I rather pay $400 more per month or just share a shower with one other person? I don't know. I kind of would rather just have the $400 a month. That doesn't really seem like a big deal. And this place, I'm actually getting a tour in about 1 hour. This is sort of my top pick right now. Now, I did reach out to a few other places, but really I see these sort of as backups. So overall, I'm liking the options. This is moving way faster than I thought it would. This might not be a super long video if it works out to be one of those. So I'll keep you updated. Hey, so super quick update. I just got a virtual tour of one of those places I was talking about. This is the one with a shared bathroom at $1,000 rent. So turns out it is a shared bathroom with 2 other people. So there's 6 total people in the house. There's 3 people in the basement. They have a bathroom in their own kitchen. Then 3 people on the main floor where I would be. 3 people, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen. It's also $1,000 rent plus utilities. I wasn't sure about that, but utilities are about an extra $100 a month. So really about $1,100 a month. But with this one, there's somebody, it sounds like, who has already applied, and somebody else is touring the place tonight as well. So if I want it, I need to move fast. But yeah, we'll just play it by ear. I will keep you updated. Okay, so it is May 15th right now, so it's a Friday. I just got a tour of the other place that I was seriously considering, the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Few things interesting about this place. One, the guy told me that utilities were an extra $100 to $300 per month. What I didn't realize is that is split, so it's not as bad as I thought it was. So total cost would be $1,450 to $1,550 a month. Still more expensive than the other place, which total cost is around $1,100, but yeah, not as bad as I thought it would be. For downtown DC, for the location, all that kind of stuff, that's actually a really low price. Like, that is a good deal for DC. It truthfully is. But it's still, you know, about $350 to $450 more expensive than the other place. That's about approximately an extra $5,000 per year. The other thing is that the room is really small. So between the 2 places, I think I lean more towards the other place, the first place I saw anyways, just because it is a larger room, and I really don't care that much about sharing a bathroom. In college, I lived in a house with 14 other people, and there were only 2 bathrooms, and like, we figured it out. It was fine. It wasn't that big of an issue. So I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. I think I'd rather just have more room space. So I've already been approved for the application for the other place, the place that would be $1,100. So yeah, anyways, next time we talk, maybe I'll show you my new place. Hey, so now that I've got my place sorted, I need to tell you about this video's sponsor, which is Tello. I only work with brands which will help you save money, and Tello is one of them. They're a very, very affordable mobile plan provider. Even their very best, their most expensive, their unlimited plan is only $25 a month, and they've got plans for even less than that. It's easy to switch, it's easy to use. If your phone is unlocked, you can probably use your existing phone and your existing number. I know people paying more than $100 a month for their phone plan, which is absolute robbery. They would save so much money if they switched to Tello. So I will put a link to Tello.com in the description. Use that link or scan this QR code just to let them know that I sent you. Anyways, back to the video. Hey everyone, so quick moving update. It is Friday night. A couple hours ago, I picked up a car from my uncle, which I will be using to help move. It's an electric car, so I have to make sure it doesn't run out of charge. That's an interesting thing I've never had to worry about. But anyways, I've got that all packed up. I've got some other things kind of around here. That's my whiteboard and some other stuff. I've got a lot of my kitchen stuff I still need to pack up. Various other things. But I've got a lot of stuff already in the vehicle, so let me take you out there. Hey, so it's super dark. Sorry about that. But I've got everything in the back of this car. So I've got like all my little things, all of my clothes, some of my kitchen stuff, not most of it. And then in terms of unwieldy things, I managed to fit in my bookcase. You can't even really see it here, I guess, but right in the middle here, that is my bookcase. So I still have a few unwieldy things left. So I've been able to pack way more stuff in here than I thought I would, but in terms of unwieldy things, I've only got my bookshelf, and then I still have my desk, I've still got my big chair, and I've still got my bed, which I still need to take care of tomorrow. So it's been sort of interesting packing up things, because even I, again, frugal, minimalistic person, I have found multiple boxes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally don't know what's in here, and I open it, and I'm like, wow, I never use these things. Why do I have an entire box filled with stuff that I don't use? That's been an interesting experience, because I literally found like this huge box in my closet, and I opened it up and I was like, oh, here's that knee brace that I was looking for months ago. But like this entire box is just filled with stuff that I have not touched since I moved the first time, or it moved to this place that I'm currently in. Anyways, it's getting pretty late. It's like 9 p.m., but I want to do one run, drop all this stuff off at my apartment, see it for the first time, and then take care of the rest of things tomorrow. So that's what I'm about to do. It's going to be a little bit of a late night, but yeah, I'm off to DC and then unpack all this stuff. So we made it, and here is the place. This will be home for who knows how long. I will give you a full tour of the house later, but this is the room that I am renting. Hey, so I finally finished moving everything from the car into my apartment. It's about 11:30 p.m. right now. I still have about an hour-long drive back home, and I need to eat. But anyways, I want to give you a few thoughts on this sort of new place and as I'm moving in. One, I'm always grateful whenever I move for being big and strong. That's not a flex, that's not a brag. It's just really, really nice that I can move my entire bookshelf and big heavy things, just all that kind of stuff, and I can just do it on my own. That said, I still sort of have a bum knee, so I don't know when this video will release, but 1 week ago, I was in a kickboxing fight, and I sort of sprained my MCL during that fight, which is a tendon in your knee. It's a lot better right now. It feels pretty much good, but like, I can still tell that it was injured. And then the other thing that I've been thinking about is just, for the first time, I really feel like I'm living in the city. Which is true. In the past, I was living in Northern Virginia, sort of in the DC metro area, but definitely not in the city. Now I really feel like I'm living in the city. The parking here is crazy, so like if I turn around, like right, the streets are just absolutely filled. Nobody has a garage, like there's no such thing as a lawn or a garage around here. I'm always reminded of just like how different my life could have been, like how different of an experience I could have had if I grew up in a city versus a quiet neighborhood. Because the activities you do, the way you interact with people, how many people you're around, and just like what you perceive as normal is just like so fundamentally different depending on where you grew up. And I always find that really interesting, especially as I try and help people save more money and kind of try and inspire people to be more frugal. So much of it comes down to just adjusting expectations. Anyways, those are just things that I've been thinking about, probably rambling because it's really, really late. I need to drive home and get some food. I will show you more about moving around and whatnot throughout the rest of this weekend. But yeah, we are moving into the city. All right, so it's Saturday morning, and the big challenge today is moving the big unwieldy things. So first up is my huge gaming chair. This thing barely fit through my door, but now I need to get it down the stairs. Now that that's finished, next up is my mattress. Luckily, this thing is entirely foam, so I should be able to cram it into the car, and the frame collapses pretty easily, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't take up too much space. And then I can strap the bike to the car, so that should be fine. I do just have a few boxes left over too, but I should be able to complete the move in just 2 more trips. Hey, so quick move-in update. I have everything in this room right now, so it is pretty crazy around here. I have like no space. That is going to be the task for the rest of the evening, is to try and organize all of this stuff and put stuff in my closet over there, put some things in the kitchen to get them out of this room, and get everything put away and manageable, because right now it is crazy. But what I'm sort of thinking right now is that I've got my big mattress right here. I think I'm going to put it in that corner. It's not so long that it's not going to get in the way of me opening the door of my closet. So that's going to work out. And then I think I will put my desk right here. So when you walk in the door, close to that outlet over there, I can put other things right above me on these little shelves. And that means that when I film, I can sort of put my camera close to my closet and I can sort of film with this backdrop into this corner. I usually like to film where I don't have doors or windows in the shot. So that's really the only angle that I can pull off in this room. Oh, one other thing that I was thinking about is that this whole move has made me way more grateful for being a renter, because I cannot imagine having to deal with buying and selling a home as many times as I would have needed to over this last year. There's just been so much chaos in the tech industry and just in my life a little bit. So anyways, I'm in my new place. Now I gotta do the really boring stuff. I'll give you some more updates later on. Okay, so I'm starting in the hallway. So I walked past one bedroom and then there was my bedroom. So this is the room I was just in. And then I keep walking down this hallway There are some people in the basement down there. I share laundry with them, but otherwise don't interact with them. Then I keep on walking down this hallway. There is another room, another bedroom there. And then we have the bathroom here. But then we come to sort of the common area. Let me back up a little bit. So we've got a plant, and then we've got some like board games and stuff. And then, yeah, a little couch, a TV, another couch. So, you know, a little common area. And then we have the kitchen. So let me get over here to show you the full space. Probably about the same size as the place I was in, I think, honestly. The fridge is smaller and could probably use some organization. But yeah, that's sort of a tour of the place. And then we also have a back porch. Let me see if I can show you that too. Cool, yeah, we have this whole little back porch here. It's kind of dark, so I don't know how well you see this. But yeah, that's cool. So that is my place for, I don't know how long. I thought I was gonna be in my last place for much longer than I was. Kind of depends on work and stuff. But yeah, for now, this is home. Before I forget, I also wanted to show you the neighborhood. I live in a row house like these, but there's also apartment buildings around here too. The metro station is just a few blocks away, and there's a little grocery store right next to it, which is quite convenient. And then the kickboxing gym I'll train at isn't far away either. Hey, so I'm pretty much finally moved in. There's a few more things I need to just organize, but I feel pretty officially moved in. The closet is quite packed up, and you can see I've got things stacked up pretty high. Luckily, I am tall, so if I need to, I can get those things down, but it'll be a challenge even for me. So that's the closet. Then I've got the bed set up. This is sort of how I'll arrange things over here, I think. I'll need to test out the filming angle for when I film videos, but I think that'll work out. And then I've got, you know, my desk and chair over here. This is not really the perfect, most optimal use of space because that sort of space on the other side of the desk maybe gets not very well utilized. And then I sort of have like my dresser here, which is sort of in an awkward space, just like halfway along the wall. But I don't really want my dresser in the filming angle that I'll be having when I'm here. I'll want to film into this corner and just have the bookshelf and the lamp. That's pretty much it. Again, I have a lot of things under the bed. My closet is very, very packed. And I still need to organize some things like these shelves behind me. And then there's some things on the floor, like some work stuff I need to set up. And then this is just trash and recycle. So I did also finally measure this room, and it's about 11 feet by 11 feet. So 121 square feet. That's actually a little bit bigger than my last room. But the difference is in my last place, there were multiple closets throughout the house where I could store a lot of stuff. And I had a lot more space in the kitchen as well. So overall, this still is absolutely a downsize, but the actual room, a little bit bigger. So yeah, I think I'll end the video here. I bet it's already going to be a super, super long video. So I think that's it. I would recommend watching this video next, where I talk a little more about some of my lifestyle and why I'm so comfortable being as extremely frugal as I am, even though I make a good income working in the tech industry, all of that. Hopefully that video explains why I still do what I do. So yeah, check it out next. I'll see you next time.